they had had a campaign in which they asked people to write in about why they or somebody they knew had had an abortion. And I got to read hundreds and hundreds of letters. And one of the things that I learned from those letters is that nobody who had had an abortion said I had one because I have a right to choose. And nobody said I had an abortion because it's my body, my right. And those are the slogans and the language that many of the mainstream pro-choice organizations continue to use and continue to encourage as a kind of unifying and simplifying message. But I think it's one that doesn't actually represent the experience of women who sometimes choose to have abortions or sometimes feel they have to have an abortion. Although there have been many people who've always historically opposed abortion for religious, moral, and ethical reasons, since Roe v. Wade, there has been an increase in the rhetoric and the framing that the other side uses. So the language of that movement is quite stark. Abortion is murder. Abortion kills. And I know that for some people, when I've asked them, well, what do you mean by that? They will often say, I mean the doctors or the people who perform the abortions. But the people who have the abortions, and they will have them on themselves if they can't access health care providers, are women. So in fact, it's pretty hard for me to see how you can use this rhetoric without assigning it to the people who have the abortions, pregnant women. So here's what I think is at stake, is that if the efforts that are happening around the country, and they include trying to end legal abortion, placing so many restrictions on access to abortion services that women can't actually get them, and personhood measures. I don't know how many of you have heard of them. These are efforts to get states to adopt constitutional amendments that would declare that fertilized eggs, embryos, and fetuses should be treated as if they are completely separate from the pregnant woman and have full constitutional rights. These are some of the things that are happening. And in the end, the judge says, I have an obligation to rescue this fetus, and orders the cesarean surgery over everybody's objection, including Angela, who, when it's finally explained fully what has happened after the decision is made, as they're taking her out, she mouths, I don't want it done, I don't want it done. And they do it anyway. And the result of that surgery was that the fetus was born alive, but was really so far from viability because it had not gotten oxygen for so long, it died within 2 hours. And Angela Carter died 2 days later with the cesarean surgery listed as a contributing factor. It is true that whether you go to term or have an abortion, it's pretty safe, especially if you have health care, especially if you're white in the United States of America. But as Amnesty International's report said, being pregnant and continuing to term is life and health risking for the women who do it, and we fail to acknowledge that. We're behind 30 or 40 other countries on maternal mortality in the United States, the richest country in the world.